Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have some news on Granblue Fantasy versus Rising. They just they didn't just post it. They posted it last night or very early in the morning if you want. They posted the adjustments and the changes that they made from the previous beta all the way up to the full release of the game. So in this post, we're going to see changes from the previous beta, and also we're going to see more details, which is really good. We're going to see more details on the features that were not in the beta actually, and that would be in the full game, and they kind of go into detail with some of them. There are also some explanations on what will be the difference between the full version of the game and the free-to-play version. So this post is really good. It's very surprising, and it's something that people have been also waiting for in order to see more changes on things like the dash lights, right? Dash lights is something that people were really having struggles to deal with in the previous beta, so it would be interesting to see how they change them. The thing is, I already recorded a video on this before. However, it was a 43 minutes long video, and I thought it was just going to be lame if I just read the whole thing. So I woke up a bit late today. It's 2 p.m. so I'll do my best to summarize this as fast as I can, make chapters for the video as well, and also make a much shorter video so it's easier to consume. Meanwhile, I'm also using the opportunity to upload more Beelzebub video, more Beelzebub footage that I had during the beta, so this will be much better in general. All right, let's go. So the first thing that they talk about is the battle system. Battle system is more like general changes to things like character select, and some differences that they made, some changes that they made to, slight changes that they made to things like Raging Strike or Brave Counters and stuff like that. So they overall they say we have Grimnir and we have Nier, we have Nulanu in the game. You can change the system announcement voices. Raging Strike now has its own unique voice line. Brave Counter now has its own unique voice line. The buttons, they also changed the fact that you couldn't assign the buttons for throws and dash, so now you can change them. You can just throw them away if you want to replace them for something else, especially if you want to use the macro for medium plus heavy to use Raging Strike. All right, training mode. This one is very interesting because it's all new features that we didn't have in the beta. So for training mode, they added frame data, of course, which is what we'll have in the full version of the game. They also added a shortcut for the command list. There's also character tutorial mode basically inside the training mode. So you have character explanation, you have basic combos that you need to use for anti-airs or even just regular combos, and the purpose would be explained in that section as well. So on top of that, there's also character strategy to situational training and matchup training per character as well. However, those two features will be only available for Gran in the free-to-play version. So this is very interesting too, because for example, people have a lot of trouble against dash lights. I wouldn't be surprised if they add more to it in they explain how to deal with dash lights per character with this type of feature, because people have been having trouble with those, but we'll see. So next is online lobby. Online lobby is very interesting. There's a lot of changes there too, and a lot of things that they're adding up to it. So there's now fast travel. You can teleport to different sections of the map, which is now better. However, they don't really say that you can teleport to players who are waiting for a match. You have standby stations. If you remember in the beta, they had green stations in the lobby. Those stations are there so you can queue up from the lobby. You can queue up for casual matches and ranked matches, not just lobby matches, right? So that's pretty cool. They also added a feature where you can queue up for Grand Bruise, which is nice. You can also now see consecutive wins for people, like in the previous game. Whenever you're in the lobby, you can see who won how many fights, and that's pretty cool. There's also finally a spectate feature, which is really nice. However, it comes with a little bit of a problem, because you can only spectate matches, but you cannot leave the matches while spectating. However, they're planning to add an option to leave spectating whenever you want. They are adding it in a future update, which is they say 1.1. I'm expecting it's going to be the first update for the game. post launch update basically. So I mean, that's nice, but I feel like maybe that feature was not just complete when they were working on it and they just decided to do it later. But that's fine. At least they are pretty transparent about it, so I really appreciate that. So on top of that, there's a bit more quality of life changes. For example, they fixed a bunch of bugs. They fixed the FPS drop whenever you select a character. However, it doesn't mean that they fixed the FPS of the lobby in general. It's still a 30 FPS lobby locked, and I think it makes sense for a couple of reasons. For example, they have a lot of features. It's like 100 people in the lobby. It's a pretty big lobby as well, so it would make sense that it's locked at 30 FPS. I was kind of expecting that to be the case. They would not change that at all. Also, they have changed the thing where, in the lobby, people are just messing around pressing buttons and you hear all kinds of sound effects. It can be obnoxious, so they lowered the volume for that, and they are going to add a feature where you can literally turn off the volume for other avatars except yours. Finally, there's also a nice quality of life change where if your opponent is sitting now at the station, there will be a sound effect and your controller will vibrate as well. Okay, the next part is Granblue. So for Granblue, they're adding more game modes, as we've seen in one of the the previous streams that they had, where they explain more stuff. On top of that, they're also adding more items, more things to do, more bombs and things like that. They're also adding referee voices, which is huge. Like I said, in the gold collection game mode, whatever you want to call it, there was this thing where they had the big text on the screen. You didn't have time to read that because you had to just play. You had to focus on what you were doing. However, they're adding voices over that, so that's really nice. So you don't have to read. You can just listen to it. I just wonder if we'll be able to change the voice language for this game mode, or if we'll have to just listen to it for the general voice that we have for the game overall. On top of that, they're also adding rewards for winning Granblue. But I think the rewards are Granblue exclusive, right? So that's pretty much what it is. The next part is features that will become available in the official version. So these features are things that we just didn't have period in the beta at all. So we have arcade mode, of course, and in arcade mode it's pretty cool because if you do everything right in the arcade mode, like in the previous game, the difficulty would go up, and the final fight that you would have would be Lucilius. Lucilius would be your final boss of the arcade mode, and if you beat him, you get your in-game art, so for the gallery and stuff like that. That's really cool. My guess is that version of Lucilius would be the closest to how it would be whenever he releases, because we know already that we will fight Lucilius in the story mode of the game. However, that version might be a bit easier to fight in general, so I'm more hyped to fight Lucilius in the arcade mode specifically. They have now versus mode, of course, story mode. The thing with story mode is really interesting is that as we know, we can transfer our save data, of course. However, if you didn't beat the story mode in the previous game, or you didn't complete like the second part of the story, because it's separated in 3 story modes in this one, you can literally just skip those 2 parts and you can just jump right away into the story mode exclusive to Rising. So that's really nice. You don't have to play the old story mode if you want to just go into the Rising story mode, right? All right. So the thing that's also really cool about story mode is that they have confirmed that if you clear it, you unlock more rewards, things like lobby avatars and also music. I'm pretty excited for that. Now, outside of that, they also have replays. They have the journal if you want to learn more about the story of Granblue and the lore. Digital figure, of course. However, that part will only have like limited things that you can use for the free play edition. They have ranked matches, room matches, rankings for the ladder. That's pretty nice. Player info, matches, 3 partners. Partners are pretty cool because they're like little chibi avatars are like encouraging you whenever you finish a match, or they just talk shit depending on what character you picked. Of course, illustration, character level, photo list. There's a bunch of things here. Interestingly enough, they have a block list. They have a list of blocked players, so you can block people. I think that's pretty nice. And And finally, something that's pretty interesting is that they have the rupee shop, and the rupee shop, there's a picture that they posted on Twitter that shows the things that you can have. You can even buy stages from the rupee shop. So I'm kind of curious if we have to buy stages still from the DLCs. I don't know. But there's also daily challenges to the rupee shop if you want to earn more rupees, you know, more gold, whatever you want to call it, more currency to unlock more stuff. So I'm expecting that they are going to add eventually things like blitz events and also time attack on boss fights and stuff like that. All right, now we go into the really juicy part, which is characters changes and overall gameplay mechanic changes from the beta. Okay, so first of all, they changed Raging Strike. They made it so it's no longer possible to just do a combo where you just spam, you know, 5H Raging Strike, 5H Raging Strike again, 5H Raging Strike. So now you can only do 5H Raging Strike, and then if you want to do another 5H Raging Strike, there's going to be a pushback. So you can only do, for example, 5H Raging Strike, and then close H Raging Strike, and then you have to do far H Raging Strike. So now they are changing that part, so it's harder for people to just do that type of combo. Personally, I like this change a lot because I thought those combos were kind of cheap, first of all, because of the damage that they would do, and on top of that, they were kind of ugly. I think for most characters they were not very cool. It was really cool for a character like Lancelot, for example. He had like this, I don't know, 70% or 80% combo damage that you could do with that, and it looked really cool. I'm pretty sure you can still do it. It's just like the conditions are going to be a bit harder, like you have to be in the corner, and also you're probably going to have to do a bit less. The combo will be shorter overall, and it'll probably do less damage as well. So I think I'm very favorable to this change. They've also made it so when you do a God Crush with Raging Strike, or just doing Raging Strike in general, they have reduced, you know, the amount of accidental pressing where you do accidentally 2 Raging Strikes, right? Because sometimes you want to do Raging Chain and it's kind of fucked up. You don't know if you have enough meter or no. So they changed it so there's less errors when you're doing that. Okay, so the next change is Dash Lights. Dash Lights got a very small nerf, which is they nerfed the damage from 1000 to 600. So that's a pretty good change. However, I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't like the fact that Dash Lights were plus on block. I personally like them. I like them to be plus on block personally. The only thing is, I wish that what they did, they would revert it entirely to how it was in the first beta. So in the first beta, if you don't know, Dash Lights were also plus on block, the same way they were plus in this beta. However, the biggest difference between Dash Lights from the first beta to the second is the range that they had. So the range for Dash Light it was much smaller. So first of all, it would be easier to whiff a Dash Light, so people could just whiff punish you off of that. On top of that, it was harder for some characters to confirm some moves off of it. In the second beta, by increasing the range, what they did effectively is that more characters can use it more easily, but also in a cheaper way, because now some characters could just go into a medium auto combo after a Dash Light. That's crazy. And it led to a lot of damage, right? I think it led to too much damage. So in the first beta, all you could do was Dash Light, and then you could do maybe Far Light or 2M, right? And that was fine. I think that was totally fine the way it was. They were still plus on block, but there were more consequences to using Dash Lights. At least I wish that what they did, they would add more pushback on block for Dash Lights, but it seems to not be the case at all. Regardless, like I say, I'm okay with Dash Light. I'm also suspecting that they are leaving it this way because they are giving us the tool, you know, in the training mode to learn more about Dash Lights and how to maybe counter them. So that's my expectation, but we don't know. All right, the next thing is Brave Counters. So Brave Counters, when you use them against whenever you get Raging Struck and you get a God Break, so there's more time now to actually use Brave Counter. You have more time to think, to look at your resources. Do I want to let it go, or do I, you know, immediately just press Raging Strike Brave Counter to get away? So now you have more time for that. They also changed some cooldowns for EX moves. We don't know which one. They are very, brief with that one. They're just saying we adjusted the cooldown times for some of them. I wonder if that means they changed the cooldown time for Karma. I don't know. But it could also mean that they added more cooldown to some EX moves. We don't know. We don't know what they did exactly, but we'll see. They changed also aerial throws so that now you can only break aerial throws by using the throw button and no longer by using, normals. Because there was a complaint. There were some complaints about aerial throws where you could always break them because you just mash in the air and then you get to break free from the throws, right? There are a couple other changes that they don't really go over. They say they've implemented a lot of character specific balances and bug fixes. For example, the Beelzebub bug. I hope they fix that. So there's that, and then they go into some of the major changes that they did. Well, some of the more important changes that they made for some characters. They're not necessarily always super big buffs or nerfs, but some changes overall. So for example, Grand's SBA and the new Eternal Age SSBA, they've changed how it works now. So you have more time also to confirm into your Eternal Age. Basically is what they explain. It's easier to just do overall. Vaseraga got a pretty big buff, a very significant buff. So Soul Forge, Vaseraga's unique button, now it has less recovery, and also you can do it after normals. So you can do auto combo Soul Forge. For example, Siegfried is a character that can do that as well, right? You can do auto combo into Manigans, or Zoe can do auto combo into, charging the dragon, into follow up and stuff like that, right? That's huge. That's a big change for Vaseraga. Man, can they just do that for Beelzebub too, so I can teleport after an auto combo? I mean, it's not very useful, but it would just be funny to have. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. They're just making Vaseraga faster, man. That's insane. Anyways, the next change is the nerf to 6. So 6 had 2 DPs basically. He had his unique parry, but he also had unique empty hand. So empty hand is the one where it just leaps out of the screen and then goes back in, right? Because before in the previous beta it was actually invincible frame 1. Now they remove the invincibility. He will only be invincible after the leap, right? So because of that, the move couldn't refund meter because it was technically a DP. And also he had a combo right after it that was pretty cheap. So before he had the consequences of having an invincible DP with ultimate skill. So he couldn't refund his meter. Now because they removed that invincibility at frame 1, you can now refund your meter by using it, which is cool. I'm guessing depending on how you do combos, you can probably refund your meter with that move. There's probably going to be some new routes for 6 as well. But overall, it's kind of a nerf because he no longer has that invincibility, right? No longer having 2 DPs that could go into a combo right after, So cheap. The next one is Anila. So Anila over the fence ultimate version, the hop, the KOF hop, they buffed it. So now she is tracking the opponent and she has less recovery, and she also travels farther with over the fence. Pretty huge. So there are some big buffs and some big nerfs. We don't know exactly what are the others. They're just giving us some of the changes that they've made. But yeah, that's pretty much the entire post. 20 minutes is much shorter than what I did before, which was like a 45 or 43 minutes long. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'll slap some footage in the background as well with this. If you want to read it, if you want to read it yourself, I left it in the description below. I'll also post it in the comment section. So if you want to know what's going on yourself and have your opinion on it, I will leave it there. Anyways, I'm really happy with this post. I think they have made a lot of quality of life changes. I'm pretty excited because the game is releasing in pretty much 2 days. So we'll get to play very soon. Early access at least. Sorry if you're a Steam player, but that's what you get for playing on PC. My bad. I didn't mean to say that. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.